Yeah,
So,
man.
can you introduce yourself? What is your name and what is your journey in this world?
All right, so my name is Nazz Alexander from the island of St. Lucia down in the Caribbean. So far, my journey, well, in this world, I'm assuming you mean in the world of online business and AI. So far, my journey has led me down a couple different paths. One was micro private equity, so buying and selling businesses online, which led to digital marketing, which now led me to the world of AI and starting an AI automation agency.
And let me go a little bit earlier, but like your childhood and your early career. What is the life like in this island in Caribbean? Because it's so far from Ukraine where I am. So can you just explain like how you came to this position?
Oh yeah, so I mean, in the Caribbean, most of the Caribbean islands are very similar. But the island I come from, St. Lucia, like obviously it's a very small place, only about 180,000 people. So it's very like community centric. So, everybody kind of knows everybody. It's very like relaxed. Most of the time, the type of things we do for recreation, go by the beach, if you have a bicycle, go ride your bike. Like it's not very fast paced, very slow moving. We have a saying we like to say, it's called island time, meaning anytime you make an appointment or you set some kind of event, if you put it at 3 o'clock, just expect everybody to show up at 4 or 4:30 because everybody's on island time. Life is pretty simple over here. But yeah, I guess from an early age, I just had my parents as my influences in terms of my interest in business because they're business people. So I always saw that. So I never really had the thought in my mind that I should or had to spend the rest of my life working for somebody else. So that always led me down paths of trying to discover and trying to learn and trying to figure out what I could do to build a business or build skills that I could offer as a service and so that I could be independent. So I guess that's how I kind of came down that road.
Yeah, that's you are very lucky to have been to be born in this place and along the ocean and this family where all your entrepreneurial spirit is ignited. You have what kind of education, apart from this advice from your family, from your parents, what kind of education did you get? When did you study? And tell me a bit more about your school or high school.
Yeah, so in St. Lucia, our education system is based on the British system of education because we were once a British colony. The different levels we have are primary school, secondary school, and then after that, optionally, you can go to like community college or university. Usually, to go to university, you have to leave the island. But I went to just a normal public school called Camille Henry. So I made a lot of my lifelong friends going to public school. And then my secondary school was called St. Mary's College. It's actually an all-boys secondary school down here on the island. And it is there's two secondary schools that are known to be the top performing schools on the island. One of them is St. Mary's and then the other one is St. Joseph's Convent. So one is an all-boys school and one is an all-girls school. So I went to the all-boys one and that is where I was able to kind of explore like my entrepreneurial side a lot more because while I was there, I did, like the basics principles of business, economics, IT, and then I started some small businesses while I was in school. I started like a courier service or where I used to order things on behalf of other people. I was giving loans to my friends at the time for interest, and of course I sold like little goods and stuff from the bulk store. Like we have a big supermarket that sells candy and sweets and stuff in bulk. I used to buy that, package it and sell it. But that's also where I got to explore my artistic side. So I was in the theater club. And for 6 years, I was an actor. I did poetry. And so I kind of got to balance both sides of my brain, like my creative side and then my logical or business side. And then when I finally left secondary school, I chose not to go to community college or university because I decided that path wasn't really suited for my personality. And I went straight into starting another business. That one I ran for 4 years. It was a skate shop. So I had a dealership, an agreement with a wholesale dealership, buy boards from them, sell it on the island. I used to fix them, teach skateboarding. I used to run contests. And we even formed a team that used to go from different islands to take part in competitions. So, yeah.
That's a it's an interesting story. So you have such a multifaceted personality with artistry and with business and sport. I think that you have a full life, full of adventure. But then concerning the technological things like starting an AI agency, it implies some programming skills or getting into technologies. Did you study anything, or you just want to organize some to get to bring your idea of automation of some AI startup to life, or do you study technology?
So I mean, I've always had a big interest in IT, like even all throughout my years in school and when I was starting my business. That's when I really dove into the world of like self-development and online learning. So I took a lot of courses in like making websites, doing graphics, and I was able to learn a lot of different software, video editing, photo editing softwares. So that kind of helped spark the interest in, technology and software and tools. Also, when I was in secondary school, I did information technology, IT, and I did pretty well in that subject as well. I also went to do a course in computer hardware maintenance. So I got a certificate before I left secondary school in computer hardware maintenance. So I used to go and solder components off of motherboards, like capacitors, resistors. And then it came to a point where I decided that I wanted to learn how to code. I tried to teach myself coding a couple times. I tried to learn Python, but I found that I didn't really have the drive to stick with it because I didn't tie my learning to a project. I was just learning for the sake of learning because I thought it would be cool to learn to code. Then came, the whole blockchain revolution, and then I figured, maybe I can become a Solidity developer. So I started learning Solidity to make smart contracts and whatever. So, but I always just hit a wall after I got past the basic level because the conviction just wasn't there. But then after that, and then after all my experience in online marketing, finding the AI space, it really just reignited the drive and the purpose. That's the main thing, is the purpose for actually learning the technical skills. So diving back in for the past 2 months, I found myself getting lost for hours and hours, just going through courses and tutorials and trying to build new flows and trying to solve problems. So it wasn't any formal education to speak of, but mainly just self-teaching, online learning, courses, tutorials. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that you made an important point of difficulty to learn without practicing, without applying your coding knowledge of Python to some real project or some real business where the money are. So I think that whenever you get some money or get some things going with people, with transactions, it helps you a lot with your inner belief, conviction that you are doing the real stuff. So I think that's important. And by the way, I didn't ask you, how old are you? It's not a problem to tell.
Oh, yeah. I'm 27 now, but in 2 months I'll be 28. Almost 12.
Oh, fantastic. You are almost twice as young as me. So I think that you have so much better. I'm 51. So I think that you have such a you're doing this in the largest change shift of technology in the history of humankind. And so with your practical approach, and for your community, you're community based, you have an energy, you have your thirst for knowledge and some experience in different fields. So I think that you have a fantastic journey ahead of you. And so with all this in mind, when you started had a grasp of this knowledge, this past knowledge, you had some understanding of technology. Then what are your first thoughts about how to apply this knowledge in real life?
So just to understand the question, you're asking how I'm planning to apply my past experience knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Including AI. So you past experience, and then you have AI. Then what kind of business do you want to start to help some kind of business with your knowledge?
Right. So it's interesting because I was talking to a member of the AI automation accelerator community yesterday, and then I was explaining that I've been very inclined to building a lot of tools through just simple platforms like Google Sheets. So I have a lot of different Google Sheets and Google Sheets templates that I've built, and so much so that some of my friends have started knowing me as like the Google Sheets guy, who I will build dashboards and stuff that I would probably be better off building in a specialized software. But I'm so stuck on Google Sheets because I already know it. And in the past, I've actually built some of these templates for sale, right? And I've managed to sell a couple of them. So I was saying that I want to start right now with the automation agency to kind of cut my teeth in AI and build that experience, build up my network a little bit more. And then I'm thinking that at some point I would probably want to move into SaaS and start building tools. I love building tools for like managing one's personal resources, like managing time, managing money. I enjoy building tools around productivity. So I think that like in the long run, that is probably where I'll end up going, is figuring out how to myself become more productive and help other people become more productive, because the science of achievement and mindset and reaching your goals is something that I'm very obsessed with.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. And so I need to do something with this.
Hi.
He says hi. He says hi.
Oh, I like your shirt. Motorcycle. I have a motorcycle myself.
Yeah, so you are into productivity, into Google Sheets. So you you want to optimize and to automatize the workflows of people. So by the way, do you use only Google Worksheets, or do you use also Airtable?
So because of the AI automation stuff, I started using Airtable, and I'm loving it so far because it's like Google Sheets but on steroids, and with the ability to build front ends and all of that.
So that was my phrase that I quote all my friends that the Google Sheets is that Airtable is a Google Sheets on steroids. So we think about the same.
Yeah, man.
So did you come to some solutions that is already working for some people, or do you have some plan and you're collecting resources for implementing it?
So at the moment, a lot of the workflows I've been building have been to kind of solve my own problems, my own productivity problems when it comes to like building the agency. So like client onboarding or client outreach or posting content to LinkedIn, generating invoices. So I have built like a nice little handful of automations and workflows, but I haven't actually implemented any in the real world yet. So I'm about a month into the accelerator and 2 months into deciding that I want to take on AI as a business. I'm hoping to get the chance to actually do at least some free implementations soon to put my builds in the real world. But for now, just my own problems I've been solving.
Yeah, so I will be happy to, if you share something with me, and maybe I can test myself, and we can make this the theme of our next interview, of our next broadcast. I think that what you share, you have such a diverse mix of knowledge, of life knowledge, business knowledge, and you have such a unique settlement and communications with people with small town. By the way, do you have tourism as well in your?
Oh yeah, too much tourism. Tourism makes up about 80 or 85% of our GDP. So we wouldn't survive without tourists.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So do you think that there are some processes? I think you mentioned golf club. And what are the other areas of travel agencies or with tourists that can be automated, or where AI can be used in this travel tourist activity?
So right now my 9 to 5 or my day job is at a luxury private golf club, right? It's 400-acre property, and I actually took the opportunity once to sit the general manager down, and I had some lavalier mics. I mic'd him up, and then I interviewed him. I asked him questions to try to figure out what bottlenecks that he's experiencing in his workflow and between his different departments, because the golf club has many different departments: food and beverage, the golf operations, member services, all of this. Some of the main problems that were recurring after talking to him and some of the other managers of the different departments was communications is a big thing between departments, between team members, figuring out how to consolidate the multiple channels of communication into one and avoiding miscommunication and late replies and things like that. And then one interesting one that they mentioned that I didn't even think of beforehand was in terms of transportation and tracking like the location of the arrivals and like the guests that are moving around, because like I said, it's a luxury place. So these are like high profile individuals with high net worth. And so they want to be able to track, for instance, as soon as they get picked up from the airport and where the vehicle is moving along the way, and if the schedule changes, and have things automatically updating schedules and stuff like that. So that is an interesting problem that I would be keen on seeing how that could be solved. I know there's some software tools that already are custom built for transportation. So I guess it would be a matter of connecting those with scheduling apps and things through platforms like N8N and Make. But yeah, on a more general sense, I think a lot of the hospitality industry and the tourism industry can benefit from things like, the communication automations and, giving guests welcome packages or guides or like concierge service, that type of thing, so yeah.
Thank you. I think one guy in the community, he's Vedran Stanojevic, and he's always on the networking events almost most of the time. He is in the hospitality, and he has fantastic posts, great posts on LinkedIn. So you can, I will connect you with him, and I think you have a lot of things to think about because he is into hospitality. Nice. And I have been working in hospitality for maybe 15 years because I was a technical engineer, software engineer in Hotel Rus in Kiev, and made their first websites in 1998. Almost 30 years ago, I made the first website for them, and then I was supporting it. We made the first reservation system for clients, and then from there, I ran my own agency, travel agency. I started my travel agency in 2003, but mostly it was inbound tourism for Ukraine. So we served many people who came to Ukraine. We had some apartment service and hotel service, and we welcomed like thousands of guests for 5 years. So I had some experience in my younger years. Our industry is completely different from yours, but nevertheless, Kiev was an attraction for tourists for almost around the year. We have some people coming in winter, some people coming in summer, a lot of business conferences before the war. But now with the war, everything changed a lot in Kiev. So, but anyway, we have been, I know about these things, and I think that tourists are a great source of networking connections and ideas because people come with their own businesses. And I think that you will have, when you talk to people, that you have the audacity and to talk to general manager of your facility. And so I think that you will have a lot of things, ideas to come within next weeks or months. And by the way, you mentioned N8N. What is there? What technologies and apps, software are there on your technology stack at the moment? What do you use?
Yeah, so even though I made mention of N8N, it was more like a notable mention. When I first started out, I started an N8N account and a Make account, and then I decided to just go with Make because the interface was simpler for me to get started. So I mainly use Make.com, a lot of the Google Suite, Airtable, like we already mentioned. And now, over the past 2 or 3 days, I've been just exploring a whole lot of different APIs. So even ones that are not necessarily, like some of them have native integration with Make, some of them are just APIs that you have to call with the custom HTTP module and so on. So I've just been figuring out how to structure the requests and just to expand my skill set and to expand my realm of possibilities so that I could understand what is possible with the solutions that I can build. But yeah, Make.com is kind of the main thing, and then everything else just branches out from there.
Yeah, thank you, Nazz. I think that you can do a lot of things within Make and just connect. Even so, some people consider like N8N is more professional, like you can host elsewhere. But I think that most of the tasks, even quite complicated ones, can be realized within Make. It connects the dots, and it can be with their AI agents and with AI like scenarios with different routers and etc. I think that that is quite advanced and user-friendly and visual software that is easy to work with. And so, Nazz, do you have some partners or team, or do you work as a one-person team, one-person company?
Yeah, right now I'm just a solo service provider. But I'm always looking to network and figure out like who I could do a joint project with. I have some friends on the ground here in St. Lucia that I always keep like a mastermind kind of vibe with, where we meet, we talk about business ideas, we update each other on what we're doing, and a couple of them have been getting into AI and automations because they see the opportunity. So hopefully at some point I'll get to collaborate with them and we can do some joint venture like that. But for right now, it's just me.
Yeah, that's great. And I think that the kind of content that we are creating now with you will be welcomed by other people. So more people we can share it on the community as well, on the accelerator. And also I will share in my network. So I think that more people will want to come together and to make some kind of cooperation. And me and my team, by the way, due to accelerator, I came to know some very friendly people, and one team called Nordic AI that you can see on my LinkedIn, that we already having weekly calls for more than 1 month, maybe 2 months already. Every week we go on the calls and we make interviews, and I think that we are going to somewhere with the partnership. There are a lot of all of these people are very open. So I think, could I ask you, what are your ambitions? How do you see a future? Do you want to create a SaaS unicorn, maybe something that will change the life on your island, or or wider? So what are your dream outcome for your agency?
So for as long as I can remember, pretty much even as far back as the age of 14 years old, which is when I first got into personal development and understanding the power of the human mind, I've always had the desire to give the people around me that same gift that I was given by, people who were ahead of me in their journey. So any endeavor I kind of put my hands in right now, I always have the long-term goal of figuring out how I could turn it into a educational program, or like a resource, or some kind of springboard for other people who are younger or older or whatever, who have the desire. That's the main factor. For other people who have the desire to do better and to elevate themselves, so that they can streamline their journey and they can get access to resources and knowledge and tools. Because there's a lot of people who have, especially from where I live, who have the desire to do something more, but they don't even know where to start or what's possible, or so it is just a lot. It can be overwhelming. So if I can put together something where somebody could start and then they could just get guidance and resources, so that people can have people can be empowered to change their own lives the same way that I feel empowered to change my own life because of what other people have imparted into me. That is what I want to be able to do.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Nazz. So maybe we can come to the last part of this first interview. And I wanted to ask you about, how do you feel, why people should start working with you? Like, what are your unique selling propositions, even though you don't have this one? But I think that you partly explained this in this previous statement. But nevertheless, what is it that differentiates you from the crowd and your startup and your personality, your future team?
Yeah.
Why should people come to you to work with you?
Well, I believe that because of my unique combination of experiences and my perspective on the world, I've somehow developed this attitude that any and everything is possible. Meaning, it doesn't matter how complicated the challenge or how big the obstacle might seem. I'm the type of person who will continue working on it and chipping away on it until I get it done. So I'm not scared of a challenge. I'm not scared of a problem. And my attitude is always a positive one. It can be done, so it will be done.
Yeah, great. I think that your attitude and your mindset, which is a growing mindset, is that always stable, and you have the growing mindset, you can overcome all the obstacles, the difficulties. So I wish you to come to your objectives, to your goals sooner than later. And I hope to be one of the tools or instruments or partners on your path in the future. So I'm happy that we met, and as I said, I'm impressed by your videos that I first saw in the accelerator community when you were driving car and explaining this. And so I wish you all the best.
Thank you, my friend.
I wish you to have like a very successful AI agency, which will help not only you, but people of your island and your country. Thank you. Thank you, Nazz.
Much appreciated, Alex, and thanks so much for inviting me to do the interview. I really enjoyed having the discourse, and I hope we can have some more episodes in the future.
Absolutely.